UFC Fight Night Walker versus Hill full card prediction. 12 fights on the entire fight card. Jamahal Hill, Johnny Walker in the main event. Originally, it was supposed to be Rafael Fiziev versus Rafael Dos Anjos, but that fight is being moved to UFC 272. We got Daukaus versus Pickett in the co-main event. Also supposed to be Daukaus versus Marquez. We got Parker Porter, Alan Baudot. We got Nikolas, Motta versus Jim Miller, one of the guys that has the most fights, the most wins. I mean, he has a lot of records inside of the UFC. We got Buckley, Abdul, Razak, Alhassan, banger in the middleweight division. Onama versus Benítez, banger in the featherweight division. Edgar versus Jessica Rose Clark, decent fight there at bantamweight. Two 18-3 fighters, Skelly and Marcus Striegl. Diana Belbiţă, more of a wrestler grappler, versus a striker in Gloria de Paula. We got two guys that probably might get cut pretty soon, in Jesse Strader and Chad Anheliger. Chad, I don't think, if he loses here, I don't know if he's going to be cut, but if Jesse loses, he might be cut from the UFC. We got Pearce versus Rodriguez on short notice. Originally, it was supposed to be Austin Lingo and Jonathan Pearce. And if you look at the betting odds, they've actually made the odds better. It actually made the odds better in terms of, like, if I were to bet on Jonathan Pearce, but they're saying that this Christian Rodriguez fight is actually going to be a harder fight than Austin Lingo. You see right here, minus 350 on DraftKings, and then minus 335 on DraftKings. So they're actually saying that this is a harder fight going against a Christian Rodriguez, who Christian is taking the fight on short notice. So that's very interesting. And then we got yet another short notice one, Perrin and Mario Bautista. So we're going to get into that one right here in the bantamweight division. Mario Bautista and Perrin in the bantamweight division. They're pretty close in age, I have to admit, pretty close in height and in terms of reach. Everywhere you look, they're pretty much identical in terms of height, reach, age, whatever the case may be, so none of that's really going to be an advantage. The thing that I'm going to focus on as being advantages is definitely going to be the volume for Mario Bautista, the explosiveness of Mario Bautista. The man can pull out a finish at any moment. We saw that in his fight, like 2 fights ago against Miles Johns, going out there, landing a flying knee and getting that finish. A lot of regional wins, just getting a TKO, getting that submission, getting that first round knockout. He's a very, very solid finisher, but he has been finished in both of his professional MMA losses. One of them was an armbar submission loss to a very legit guy in Corey Sandhagen. The other one was the knockout loss to Trevin Jones. I think if they were to redo the Trevin Jones fight, Bautista would probably win. But overall, Perrin coming in on short notice, about 1 week, maybe like 6 days, 5 days, something like that. Whatever the case may be, he needs to go out there and take the fight down. He's got very solid submission game. A lot of his wins are by a submission. His striking, he's got decent power, decent speed, decent volume, but nowhere near that of Mario Bautista. Mario's going to absolutely destroy Perrin in the striking here. There's just, I find there's no way that he's going to be able to compete in this fight on the feet. I don't see that happening. So I see the fight going all the way. Mario Bautista, he's got more volume, he's got more power, he's more explosive, he's faster, got solid takedown defense, and I mean, he's going to be able to definitely win the fight in the striking. So, my prediction here in the bantamweight division, definitely Mario Bautista by a unanimous decision. Really good fight in the bantamweight division. Jonathan Pearce and Christian Rodriguez in the featherweight division. 29 years old and 24 years old. They're definitely fighting a lot different levels of competition. Christian Rodriguez, most notable wins are probably going to be against John Pham on the inside the LFA not too long ago, and then Junior Cortez on Dana White's Contender Series. John Pham, he's a decent guy. He's 4-3 right now as an MMA fighter. And then the other guy he beat that's most notable is Junior Cortez, Tracy Cortez's brother. So that was a solid win as well on Dana White's Contender Series. But really, he hasn't shown too much. That was the first time that the fight went to a decision. He got taken down a few times in that fight, and for literally that reason only, I'm going to go Jonathan Pearce. I believe the striking, maybe Rodriguez has a little bit of a volume advantage, a little bit of a power advantage, but eventually he's going to get taken down. If he's getting taken down by Junior Cortez, who by no means, he's a decent wrestler, but by no means is he as good of a wrestler as Jonathan Pearce. If he's getting taken down by Junior Cortez, Jonathan Pearce should definitely be able to go out there, take the fight down, ground a pound, and look for that finish. We saw the last 2 wins for Jonathan Pearce, pretty similar to that. Second round TKO on Kai Kamaka, then a second round submission on Omar Morales. This guy is a finisher. A lot of his wins, except for I believe only one, has been a finish. So in this fight here, I'm not too sure if it's going to be a knockout. I'm not too sure if it's going to be a submission. I'm going to go submission. Jonathan Pearce, submission in the second or third round. Really good fight in the featherweight division. Jesse Strader and Chad Anheliger in the bantamweight division. 30 years old and 35 years old. Little bit of a height and reach advantage there for Jesse Strader, who will also be having the striking advantage. You look here, first round knockout, second round knockout, and then another second round knockout. Only losing to UFC fighter Marcelo Rojo by first round knockout and Montel Jackson by first round knockout. So it's either he gets a knockout or he himself does get knocked out. And because of that, I mean, he kind of fades a little bit towards those later rounds. He looks a little bit worse in the second round. He's never been to the third round, but I assume he's going to be looking even worse once that fight hits the third and final round. And Chad Anheliger, all he has to do is get past the first round and the onslaught of punches from Jesse Strader, then out-wrestle, out-grapple Jesse Strader in the second and third round, tire him out, and TKO or submit him. So my prediction here is going to be a second or third round finish, as Jesse Strader is a little bit tired from the early rounds and from the wrestling that Chad Anheliger will be possessing. Second or third round finish for Chad Anheliger. Really good fight in the bantamweight division. Diana Belbiţă and Gloria de Paula in the strawweight division. Both girls, I would say, are very close to be cut from the UFC. Diana Belbiţă did get a win over Hannah Goldie, a solid win there, but she lost to Liana Jojua by submission, Molly McCain, unanimous decision, and that is about it. If she loses this one, she'll be 1-3 in the UFC, and she'll probably be cut. Gloria de Paula, she got 1 win on the Contender Series, then lost a unanimous decision to Jin Frey, and a knockout to Cheyenne Velismas or Cheyenne Buys. To be honest, whoever loses here, Gloria, if she loses, she's 0-3. If Diana loses, she is 1-3 with only beating Hannah Goldie. Yeah, one of these girls is definitely going to be cut from the UFC, in my opinion. They're both young, so they definitely had time to work their way back in the UFC and maybe fight for a title on some later date, but it's an interesting fight. Gloria is going to be the better striker. She's a lot faster, got better speed, better punches. Kicking game might maybe go Diana Belbiţă. It's very, very close in my opinion, but Diana, she's got a very, very good snap in her kiss. I mean, she kicks pretty hard in my opinion, so I think at range, Diana will have a slight advantage with those kicks. The boxing goes Gloria de Paula, the height and the reach goes Diana Belbiţă, and of course the wrestling and grappling 100% goes Diana Belbiţă. So wherever the fight really goes, on the feet, I think Diana is going to be landing those kicks, which is going to force the Gloria de Paula to have to close that distance so she can land her boxing combinations. And at that point, Diana is going to mix in that wrestling and she's going to ground and pound and look for submissions. So I do believe Diana Belbiţă will use the kicks at range and land takedowns and win the fight by decision. Diana Belbiţă, unanimous decision. Skelly and Mark Striegl in the featherweight division. They both had not fought in a while, 2 years and 4 months, and then 1 year and 3 months. They both have been scheduled for fights since then. I mean, he's been trying to fight since January of 2020 against Durant Dawson. Those fights got canceled. Then he was supposed to fight Jamahal in February. Then he was supposed to fight Mike Trizano after that. I mean, so many cancellations in this man's career. Mark Striegl, a little bit of the same. He was supposed to fight Johnny Munoz Jr. I believe it was like March or April of 2021. That fight got canceled. Really not too sure why, but they both been training for fights a little bit. in the last year or two, and I do believe this fight's going to be a good one. I mean, Skelly is definitely going to be taller, he's going to be lengthier, he's going to be the better striker, at better boxing, better volume, better kicks, better punches, everything in the striking. I do believe Skelly will have the advantage, but when you look at the wrestling and grappling, that's where it gets interesting, because Mark, maybe he has a slight advantage in the early rounds of the takedowns, but in the later rounds, as the rounds do go on a little bit, second and third round, then that's where Skelly does have the advantage. But either way, whoever uses the wrestling, it's not going to be dominant Habib Nurmagomedov wrestling. It's just going to be a takedown, a little bit of ground and pound, and one of them is going to get up. So I don't think the wrestling advantage for either guy, regardless of round, it's going to play too much of a factor. Mainly, this will be a striking fight, in my opinion, and Skelly being the better striker, the taller, lengthier, faster, more powerful guy, should definitely win the fight here. So Skelly by a unanimous decision, in my opinion. Really good fight in the featherweight division. Jessica Rose Clark and Stephanie Egger in the bantamweight division. Jessica, better wrestler, better grappler, striking, maybe she's got the boxing advantage, but Stephanie Egger is honestly pretty decent at range. She's got good judo, which she did show in her last fight with Shayna Young, getting some of those trips, taking her down and TKOing her. Got a submission win there, another knockout win, and an armbar submission win. So her ground game really is not too bad. And she's pretty good at range. She's going to have the height advantage as well as the reach advantage. But I'm being quite honest with you. I know a lot of people out there are saying Egger has the kickboxing advantage and things like that. I'm going to actually give the striking advantage to Jessica Rose Clark. I believe she's more powerful. She throws more volume. She's got the better boxing. She'll put on the pressure and win the fight that way. And if she needs to, she'll land a takedown as well. So for those reasons, I believe the main way Egger wins is going to be at range with the kickboxing or with those judo throws. I don't think those judo throws are going to be able to take down Jessica Rose Clark. And the kicks, I mean, the pressure of Rose Clark is going to really mitigate how many kicks Egger's really able to be landing in the fight. So my prediction here in the bantamweight division is Jessica Rose Clark, 30-27 unanimous decision. Really good fight in the bantamweight division. Gabriel Benítez and David Onama in the featherweight division. Gabriel, I'm going to say he's the better kicker. He's got better power in those kicks. David Onama, he's got the better chin. He's got the better volume. He's got the better boxing. Got the better power. The only thing really going for Gabriel is those kicks and a little bit of wrestling and grappling. That would be the main way Benítez wins, is really like wearing on the gas tank of David Onama a little bit with body kicks, with leg kicks and things like that. Then in the second and third round, looking for a lot of takedowns. Because on the feet, if it stays there for too long, Onama is 3 inches taller, 3 inches longer. He's more powerful, throws more volume. He's going to win the fight on the feet and probably TKO Gabriel Benítez. So if Gabriel's going to win here, he needs to take the fight down. And I don't believe David Onama has that bad of wrestling and takedown defense. And I don't believe Benítez has that good of wrestling and takedown offense. So I think the fight stays in the feet. Onama, being the better boxer, has a better chin, better speed, better power, better volume, he should definitely win the fight. And I'm going a second round TKO there for David Onama, Joaquin Buckley, and Abdul Razak Alhassan in the middleweight division. Both guys are not going to wrestle. This is not a fight where Buckley is going to go out there and look for a takedown. He kind of does that in all of his fights, where he just attempts a takedown for no reason, but I don't know if he's going to want to really even get there with Abdul Razak Alhassan, because he does have very solid judo and could land a few throws and get the fight down. But he's coming off a first-round knockout win over Alessio Di Chirico, Nico Price, Sabo Amasi twice, and then lost to Munir Lazez, Chaos Williams, and Jacob Malkoon. I believe Abdul has the better kicking game. Joaquin has the better pressure, the better boxing game, in my opinion, and maybe the better clinching game. But does he want to get in the clinch with Abdul Razak Alhassan, who does have those throws? Maybe, because he's definitely going to be focusing on the clinch game in his camp, and they probably could teach him a lot on how to defend those throws. So maybe we will see a little bit of clinching from Joaquin Buckley. Yeah, overall, in the clinch, Joaquin does have the advantage. He's got really good knees, really good elbows. And when he exits the clinch, he does end it with a jab, overhand right jab, uppercut, left hook, right hook. Really good combinations on the break. And he's just overall the better striker, in my opinion. Maybe at range, Abdul has a good chance of catching the chin of Joaquin Buckley and kicking him and knocking him out in the very first round. That's definitely a possibility. But I think Joaquin Buckley kind of plays a little slow in that first round, then comes out in that second round. Heavy pressure, heavy combinations, and then he catches the chin of Abdul Alhassan as he's backing up and knocks him out in that second round. Joaquin Buckley, second round knockout. Jim Miller and Nikolas Motta in the lightweight division. Nikolas Motta, I kind of mispronounced the wording of that name right there, but minus 175 and plus 150. If you look at the age, 29 years old, in the prime of his MMA career, fighting a 38-year-old Jim Miller, who is still getting wins in the UFC lightweight division. You look, since 2016, beats Hakanori Gomi, Joe Lozon, Thiago Alves. Yeah, he came on a couple of losses to a former interim title challenger, a former champion, a former top 15 fighter, a former top 5 fighter right there, beat Alex White, fought the champion, lost, got 2 wins over Clay Guida, Jason Gonzalez, Scott Holtzman, who's only really lost to Beneil Dariush, beat Roosevelt Roberts, and then he lost a top 25 lightweights, Vince Pichel and Joe Solecki, while also beating Eric Gonzalez. So even though it might not seem like it, it might seem like he's getting a lot of losses recently. If you look at his past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, if you look at his past 9 fights, he has a winning record of 5-4, only losing a top 25 lightweights and the champion of the UFC lightweight division in Charles Oliveira. So yeah, this stage in his career, he's still definitely game to go out there and get the finish. 68% are actually going Miller to win the fight by a submission, but I'm definitely not. Nikolas Motta, even on the regional scene, looked pretty good in terms of wrestling and grappling. You look right here, way back at the beginning of his career right here. Against Joe Solecki back in 2018, he defended a lot of those takedowns from Joe Solecki, attempted, and defended a lot of the submission attempts from Joe, and I do believe that Joe Solecki is going to be a better wrestler and grappler than Jim Miller. Joe actually beat Jim Miller in their fight not too long ago, and if Nikolas Motta is going out there defending Joe Solecki's takedown and then knocking him out in the third round, he's probably going to be able to do the exact same thing here. So I do believe Nikolas Motta defends a lot of the takedowns from Jim Miller in the fight, and then I do believe he knocks him out. We saw Eric Gonzalez in the last fight actually catch the chin of Jim Miller in that first round. If Nikolas Motta lay into that same punch, that same speed, same power, he's going to knock out Jim Miller, in my opinion. So my prediction here for the lightweight division, Nikolas Motta by knockout in the first or second round. A really good fight in the lightweight division. Parker Porter and Alan Baudot in the heavyweight division. Alan Baudot, he's got power, you know, he's got a couple of wins here and there that he's landing really big shots and getting the knockout. Out of all of his wins, he's got 7 knockout wins and then 2 knockout losses. So either way, this man is losing by knockout. His last 2 fights, he had a weird fight with Rodrigo Nascimento. Then he got knocked out by Tom Aspinall and then got knocked out by Dalcha Lungiambula as well in the first round of that fight. But Parker Porter isn't really like the knockout type of guy. He's got decent power here and there. Got a lot of knockouts on the regional scene, 4 knockouts, 4 submissions, and 4 decisions. But if you're really being honest about the style of Parker Porter, he's a guy that goes out there and looks for volume, looks to pressure you, and then mixing the takedowns late. Really gonna like wear on your gas tank and beat you in those later rounds. So even though Parker Porter isn't really much of a finisher, he does have better volume, he's got better cardio, better wrestling, got better speed. In my opinion, slightly, I wouldn't say he's got better power, but he's going to be wearing on that gassing at Alan Baudot in the first round, maybe even in the second round. And because Alan Baudot's been finished so much, and Parker is just, he finishes off all of his fights very ferociously with a lot of different combinations. I'm going to go Porter by knockout in the third and final round. That's my prediction. Really good fight in the heavyweight division. Kyle Daukaus and Jamie Pickett in the middleweight division. Let's go step by step on every facet of the game. Grappling, we got Kyle Daukaus. Kyle Daukaus is going to have the wrestling advantage as well as the grappling advantage, and I do believe he will try to mix in 1 or 2 takedowns here in the fight. Maybe, if he's not successful early on in the fight, maybe it'll be a striking fight, but that goes on to our next part of the game. Who has the the advantage on the feet. Jamie Pickett probably has the advantage in terms of kickboxing at range. He is going to have a 4-inch reach advantage, and is very, very solid at landing those kicks at range. Body kicks, leg kicks, front kicks, head kicks, things like that. He's very good at landing, but in terms of the boxing, Kyle Daukaus will have the advantage. He's got way, way better boxing. He showed that in his fight with Kevin Holland, doing very, very solid on that one, and in the fight with Dustin Stoltzfus as well. I believe the wrestling and grappling, again, goes Kyle Daukaus. The boxing goes Kyle Daukaus. The kickboxing goes Jamie Pickett. The clinch, in terms of who's landing the shots in the clinch, I would say Jamie Pickett, but that clinch scenario does leave an opening for Kyle Daukaus to land the takedown. So, it'll be a close fight. It could honestly go either way. I don't believe it should be 88% to 12%. It's definitely a lot closer of a fight than you might think, because Jamie does have solid kicks at range, could just kind of stay away from the boxing, and Kyle Daukaus defend the takedown, stay at range, and win a kickboxing battle and win the fight by a decision. That is definitely up for grabs for Jamie Pickett, but I'm going to go Daukaus by decision. That's my prediction, but I would not be surprised if Jamie, the Nightwolf Pickett, goes out there and wins the fight at range, because it's definitely possible. He has that style to do so, but I believe Kyle is going to pressure Jamie Pickett with the boxing, use a little bit of clinch to get the takedowns, and win the fight by a decision. Really good fight in the middleweight division. Johnny Walker and Jamahal Hill in the light heavyweight division. Honestly, very, very unexpected type of fight. They made it 5 rounds as it is the main event, because originally we were supposed to have Fazia versus Dos Anjos as the main event, but someone's getting knocked out. This one is not going the full goddamn 5 rounds. There's no way. I mean, even in the last fight with Johnny Walker and Thiago Santos, I personally had that fight not going I had the fight go into a decision. I had a prop bet on Johnny Walker by a decision. That obviously did not happen. He didn't win the fight, but it went to a decision. That was against Thiago Santos. He was kind of staying at range, landing kicks. He's not really looking for the knockout. He was just at range, making it a boring fight. Jamahal Hill is not going to do that. Jamahal is going to come forward. He's going to look to land his shot, and he's going to look to knock out Johnny Walker. Because Johnny, whenever he has a guy like a Jamahal Hill, like a Corey Anderson, who's going out there, coming forward and looking for that knockout blow, we saw what happened last time, and Johnny Walker got knocked out. The same thing's going to happen here. Jamahal Hill's going to come forward, get Johnny Walker's back to the cage, and he will knock Johnny Walker out, enter the top 10 of the UFC light heavyweight division, and maybe fight like a Dominic Reyes or someone like that next. So Jamahal Hill by knockout in the first or second round. Really good fight in the light heavyweight division. That is my full card prediction. I got Jamahal Hill by knockout, Daukaus by a decision, but it is a very, very close fight. Parker Porter, 3rd round knockout. Nikolas Motta by knockout in the 2nd rounds. Joaquin Buckley by, it's very tough if you're going to go to decision or a knockout. I'll say a knockout in the 1st or 2nd round. David Onama by 2nd round knockout. Jessica Rose Clark by unanimous decision. Skelly by a unanimous decision. Diana Belbiţă, unanimous decision. Chad Anheliger, late finish, probably like a 3rd round knockout. Jonathan Pearce, a 1st or 2nd round finish on the ground, TKO or submission. And Maria Bautista, probably by a knockout in the later rounds. Really good prediction there. We got the UFC Fight Night, Walker versus Hill, full card prediction. If you guys like that video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications to get notified for when I do another full card prediction. And if you want to become a member to the channel, go on to desktop mode, go onto your computer like this, type in YouTube right here, go to my channel, and you can become a member for only $2.99 every single month, which if you look at the whole picture, it's literally only 10 cents a day. That's literally it, 10 cents a day for all of my professional MMA bets. Yeah, right here, $2.99. Go on your desktop mode, press join again, and become a member right there. Thank you guys for watching this full card prediction. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Let's go.